points lead. If it's a numbers game right now, the White House is in a pretty deep hole. A month and a half after healthcare.gov's very rough rollout, only about 106,000 Americans have selected healthcare plans enrolled in them from the state and federal marketplaces. Only 26,000 of them or so are through healthcare.gov, the federal website that 36 states are using. For perspective, that's just shy of the population of Billings, Montana, 106,000. For more perspective, let's bring in our panel. Republican strategist and president of New Frontier Strategy, Phil Musser, president of Solis Strategies and former campaign manager for then-Senator Hillary Clinton, Patty Solis Doyle, and White House correspondent for the New York Times, Mark Landler. Thank you so much for being here, one and all. Patty, if you were in the White House right now, what is President Obama's #1 job? What do they need to be doing right now?
Fix the website.
Fix the website.
Fix the website. And from all accounts, they're putting resources, manpower into fixing the website. I think we knew the numbers weren't going to be great, given the problems with the website. But it's still really early. We've got more, 4+ months left for enrollment. And I think once the website is fixed, I think a relaunch needs to be put out there to really engage the American people, get them to sign up. And let's see where the numbers are 2 or 3 months from now.
Phil, I know you're on the other side of the aisle, but you're an American.
Sure.
And you want people to be insured. This is the law of the land. What would you be telling the White House right now if they somehow turned you into a Democrat momentarily? your strategy, what would it be?
Be authentic and be honest. I think if there's one thing that Americans want to see from their political leadership, it's authenticity and honesty. And honestly, this rollout today takes the net sum package of enrollees, state and federal. It's a very small number through healthcare.gov. And so I'd tell them to just not try and be too cute with the figures, because what will happen is this will ultimately be smelled out by the American people. The late night shows will get a hold of it and it'll be trouble. The second thing I'd tell them is I'd say, go to Silicon Valley, give them a $50 million RFP, and put it out there and say, give me healthcare.gov in a month, Silicon Valley. And the entrepreneurial spirits of American enterprise would probably come up with a better solution than this government-driven mistake that we're doing right now.
Mark, you sit in that room that I used to sit in, the White House briefing room. I don't want to say what's the mood over there, but are they worried? Are they distressed? Do they feel like this is just a blip, and like in 2 years we'll all be talking about how great Obamacare is?
No, they don't think it's a blip. I think they recognize the magnitude of the problem they have. But what's interesting, and you probably remember this from previous crises that you covered when you were over there, is this question of whether they panic enough at certain points. A colleague of mine wrote a story over the weekend quoting a lot of Democrats and others saying these people need to be in panic mode now. And yet, when you talk to them, they're oddly not. They argue, well, the president takes the long view. He still thinks that in the long run, this law will be a benefit and will prove itself as a benefit. But clearly, at the moment, it's not. And if they're not panicking, Democrats are panicking on the Hill and are worried that they're going to have to run next year, not with a well-functioning law that would be a great selling point for them, but with something that Republicans can hang around their neck. And so that panic may make its way down the Hill to the White House.
And in fact, it's making its way to the White House because all these Senate Democrats who are running for re-election are now introducing legislation, Senator Mary Landrieu of Louisiana foremost among them, saying, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. We're going to put that into law. The White House is going to have to pay attention to that.
Absolutely. Look.
And your former boss's husband.
Yes.
Also said that if he were president, he would change it.
Yes. But before he said that the country is far better off with this law than without it. And he's right. This is a good law. This gives, people with pre-existing conditions quality, affordable health care. That's a big deal. That's a good thing. This gives the ability for young people to remain on their parents' insurance. That's a big deal. That's a big thing. So I do believe that the country is better off. I think, and I can't even call them glitches because it's a much bigger deal, but the website needs to be fixed. Again, it's still very early. There's several months left for people to enroll. I think we need to see what happens on November 30th once the website is working much better, and see how enrollment goes after that.
You worked for George W. Bush, I recall. Obama now has poll numbers similar to what Bush had at this point in his presidency. The new Q poll has the lowest approval rating for President Obama in that poll since he became president. 39% job approval, 54% disapproval, and for the first time, more American voters say Obama is not honest and trustworthy, 52%, than honest and trustworthy, 44%. Devastating numbers. How do you get out of a doldrums like that? How do you turn it around?
That is a really tough question, because in the short term, there's really not a problem that looms on the Obama agenda that is anywhere close to being fixed or is a likely win. I mean, on the foreign policy front, we've got questions and, frankly, challenges. The health care issue is not going to be fixed in the short term. The prospect for an immigration deal just went down the tubes. There's really not an opportunity to lay out a big win. So I think if you're making me play the role of giving advice to the Democratic Party, I mean, I think the president has got to own this issue. He's got to be honest and forthright about its shortcomings. And I guess they got to take the long haul through implementation, because there really is no silver lining here, because as Patty just rightfully noted, the 5% of Americans who are getting these notices vastly outweighs the number of people who have signed up on healthcare.gov. That 5% is going to be a very critical voting bloc in the 2014 elections, Jake. And 5% in American politics in narrowly divided swing states means a ton. He's going to lose a lot of Democrats in the next couple of days. And once that happens, once you've lost the Bill Clinton stamp of approval, in this country, it's a really sticky situation for the president.
Mark, quickly, I know that one of the things that Obama and his team are hoping for a victory in is a deal with Iran. You just got back from Geneva with Secretary of State John Kerry.
They're very close by John Kerry's own assessment. But it's interesting, again, on domestic politics. He's up at the Senate today testifying behind closed doors, the Senate Banking Committee, trying to persuade skeptical Democrats and Republicans to hold off on new sanctions. And we just heard Eric Cantor make that case a few minutes ago on your show. I think that they've got to really hold these guys off, see whether they can get a deal, and then try to sell it to a very skeptical Congress and overseas to the Israelis and the Arabs.
Maybe delay it for its own sake.
Possibly.
Mark, Phil, Patty, thank you so much. Appreciate it.